Cayde Six had a family, a wife and a son named Ace. Parts of this have been a mystery for a while, but today we have some new info in the final shape on the early days of Cayde Six, and it may change everything. Let's take a look. Before becoming an EXO, Cayde was a human soldier with significant debt above his head, leading him to accept a mysterious job offer from Clovis Bray. This decision resulted in his transformation into an EXO on Europa. Sometime later, when he would awake as a guardian, he found a notebook with the name Ace on it and believed he had a wife and a son. But after that conversion, he no longer had contact with them. Cayde kept a journal for Ace, hoping to reconnect with his family one day. However, as an EXO, he experienced many memory resets, making it difficult to distinguish between real memories and constructed ones. Despite those challenges, the memories of his son and wife remained a strong motivating factor throughout his life. We see Ace and various cards have an impact on Cayde as a character. The Ace of Spades, the "I'm coming home" Ace line in Forsaken, and even the brand new suite of Cayde-themed weapons in the final shape.
I'm coming home, Ace.
In one of his journal entries, Cayde writes to his family as a human before becoming an EXO. "So there you have it, Ace. That's why I did what I did. I had no choice, really. It was that or the great beyond. Just know your dad did what he had to do if I ever wanted to see you and your mother again. You probably won't recognize me, since I'll be, well, a robot and all, but I'll find you. I promise." So that line appears to be before Cayde became an EXO. Even after he did, he continued to write, although memories would be clouded over time. He was a bodyguard for Maya Sundaresh of the Ishtar Academy on Venus, and even began to develop feelings for her, but nothing happened. This Ishtar gig is pretty wild, even for a lughead like me. Get it, Ace? Lughead? Come on, I'm trying. I'll get some better jokes, I promise. I knew I was here to secure some top secret thing in the jungle, but I saw it today. They dug up the remains of a technological civilization that actually predates humanity. Don't tell anyone I told you, or could be Wipesville again. In some entries, he begins to question some of his memories due to EXO resets. This has been fun, I guess, but it'll all be gone tomorrow. I have been what they call compromised, which is funny because I feel fine. Could use a few upgrades, but what EXO couldn't? But compromised means they are going inside my brain to wipe it from my memory. Met an interesting fellow EXO who leaves letters like this in caches. So whatever she gets saddled with next, she might come across one and take a trip down lost memory lane. Ace, know that when I find you, I will never let them find me. Things are even weirder now, Ace. This is my 4th assignment, and I'm kinda losing touch with what came before this whole EXO thing, and what's a leftover fragment from another tour. I knew this would have its kinks. I guess this is one of them. You know me. I didn't bother reading the fine print or anything. At least I know you're real, right? In other lore from Forsaken, Cayde himself doesn't remember them. The collapse happens, Cayde becomes a guardian, and when he awakes, he finds Ace's name in a journal. Here's the truth, Ace. I don't remember you. Found your name in a journal I had on me when my ghost rezzed me. I guess I used to write to you, and I kept doing it, even though you're long dead, if you ever really existed. Just liked having someone to write to, I guess. So there you have it. Now you'll never guess what happened today, Ace. So we have some text that says Cayde as a human had a family. As an EXO and then guardian, he begins to question if they were even real. But he continues to write to Ace even if they weren't real because it helped Cayde. Helped him believe in a purpose, in a past, just as anybody else would write in a journal to write down their thoughts and work things out. Things get interesting in the final shape. In the expansion, we meet a new character, Micah 10, well, in-game at least. Micah is a vendor that became a guardian and was a part of the 6 Coyotes. She helped rally and foster ghosts as they searched for their guardian. But before that, it was much different. Long ago during the Golden Age, on the snowy tundras of Europa, Clovis Bray built Eventide in his exo facilities. Many scientists would flock here for the opportunity at innovation and discovery. Among them were 2 men and scientists, Hector and Wesley Abram. They had a child named Micah Abram. During the time on Europa, Micah wrote letters to the Traveler, collected penguin plushies, and had reoccurring dreams about being an exo. These dreams carried cryptic messages and repeated over months. Now that's a story for a whole nother video, but along the way, Micah ran away and broke into the EXO facilities where Cayde 1 was on patrol. Although horrified at first, Micah developed a friendship with Cayde 1 soon after, which helped her process her emotions and transgender identity. Micah later became an EXO. In Micah's quest in the final shape, she speaks about Europa and her friend Cayde. Cayde doesn't remember.
What stopped Kargan?
If this log is correct, Maya Sundaresh did.
Maya? Whoa. Why does that name sound so familiar?
Why don't you and I talk about that offline, Cayde? But the Guardian and Ghost track down Bean.
Yeah, that sounds good. Europa, I ain't even there, and I can feel all that cold in my bones.
Do you remember Europa, Cayde?
Bits and pieces, yeah. I ain't a big fan of numbers lower than 6, but there's still pieces of them in here, rattling chains, haunting.
Cayde, do you remember anything from your first EXO incarnation?
Some. Ain't exactly happy to talk about what I do, either.
Was there a child?
I think. I don't know. I remember bits and pieces, shadows of faces. It's all a jumble, Micah. Why?
It's nothing. They can wait for a more private moment. I've never told anyone this, but I knew Cayde before he was a Guardian, before I was a Guardian. We were both on Europa before the collapse. I found out about it after the Braytech facilities on Europa were unearthed. I know Guardians aren't supposed to go digging into their past, but I did. I found my Exomind archive. I found myself. Micah Abram. I grew up on Europa, and even then I was struggling to understand my identity in so many ways. As a child, I was having dreams, visions sent to me by the Traveler. I didn't understand them then, but I do now. It was preparing me for this, for loss, for losing people like Anwar, like Cayde. Cayde was the personal bodyguard of an Ishtar Collective researcher named Maya Sundaresh. He was an EXO before I entered the program. He helped me. When my fathers were away on work, Cayde would talk to me, play cards, teach me how to cope with isolation. Cayde doesn't remember. And that's okay. I can hug him one last time and remind him that he was missed, that he saved me.
So the interesting thing is, was Micah Ace? Now, Cayde apparently had letters written to Ace before when he was human, but after that he did bond with Micah Abram on Europa as Cayde 1. He went through many resets after, so it's possible that Micah could have been Ace, or took the position of Ace through his many resets. Cayde later became a guardian and found the journal. So right now we have human Cayde that may have remembered his wife and son. Exo Cayde on Europa meets Micah and bonds, continues to write in his journal. At some point works as a bodyguard on Venus for Ishtar researcher Maya Sundaresh and begins to form feelings for her. Exo Cayde gets reset many times and forgets things. Exo Cayde dies during the collapse and then later wakes as a guardian, finds his journal which mentions Ace. So beyond that, Maya may have been the Queen of Hearts he remembers, his love or wife. Micah and Maya Sundaresh both appear on Cayde's new weapons. Micah as the Queen of Spades, and Lakshmi/Maya as the Queen of Hearts. From Forsaken's The Man They Called Cayde lore book, the last entry, Bad Beat. Been trying hard to give you a sense of what matters to me, but also to find a way to talk about things that scare me. Thing, really singular, and that is loss. Losing. I'm a poor loser, I admit it. I run from it, full speed. Others don't, others accept it, but everything I said about my queen is true. She is my shield. She is also a lie. I don't know when I made her up, or better, I don't know when I decided to believe in a life I don't know and can never truly own. Was it during this life? Was it my rebirth as a guardian, or the void of everything I was before? What drove me to invent comfort? Possible, even likely, but I'm not sure. I do have flashes of memory of the life I had before I was a guardian, but that's all they are. Flashes. Quick flickers of people and places in my dreams, or in that space between a bullet and getting rest. I see a woman there, and she's all I've ever known of a life since long gone. I feel love for her. Is that love a memory, or am I simply loving the memory? I've convinced myself of the former. I've concocted a truth to make myself whole. The kid, the woman, I do not know them. They are not real. But I wish I did, and I wish they were. They're just the two best cards I could find to keep up my sleeve when the odds were stacked against me. I made them real in my mind and in my heart. I fell in love with the idea of them, and I crafted a truth that allowed me to feel. Without Ace, and without my queen to listen to me, to hear me, to see me, there's no telling who I would have become. But I know, and I know there's a chance it wouldn't have been very nice. So that is interesting. One line that pokes out in particular is the one where he talks about the flashes of the life he had before. Quick flickers of people and places in his dreams, or in that space between a bullet and getting rest. So that afterlife, so to speak, is kind of the same one he talks about in The Final Shape. All things, all these memories return to the traveler in this space, this afterlife, and Sundance was there with him.
A jack of spades?
Yeah, I had a whole system to keep track of things. The royal cards stood for weapons. Spades meant hake, clubs for Crux Lomar, diamonds for Amalon, and hearts... well, hearts were for this girl I knew.
What was her name?
Don't you have a stealth drive to find?
So right now, things seem to be up in the air with some contradicting lore. Did Cayde actually have a family, a wife and a son before he became an exo? Or through these memory resets and then becoming a guardian, did things get clouded and foggy? Him just remembering the bond he had with a child named Micah on Europa. Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video. If you'd like to see some more lore and mysteries just like it, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.